Welcome back to the Europats. I'm Matt. This is my lovely wife, Diane.
As y'all know, when we first started this whole process and the whole journey of wanting to move abroad, we wanted to move to Italy. We went to Italy, we fell in love with Italy, we just love everything about it. But fate happened and now we can't go there. Well, we could. But is it financially responsible? No. So we were forced to come up with a plan B, and we started looking at all of the countries in the EU. We did a video on this a while back, if you want to go back and see it, on why we couldn't go to Italy. But doing all of this research has led us to France. And so in this video, we're going to talk about why we have chosen to move to France.
Now, we're not planning on moving to France tomorrow, but we are in the planning stages. And right now, with us living in Texas, we're still working towards our retirement. But retirement is getting closer and closer, and France is just calling our name.
And after raising 7 kids and building careers, me in finance, Matt in law enforcement, we're finally starting to look at what comes next, and we're super excited about it. And everybody has different views on what retirement is. And if you would have asked me years ago if I thought that we would be moving abroad, no, we were going to move to Tennessee, to be perfectly honest.
We had all of our plans to move over there to the east side of Tennessee near Knoxville.
Beautiful, beautiful. But when you start thinking about retirement, you realize that, or we realized, if we were to stay here in the U.S., I wouldn't be able to retire.
And I wouldn't be able to retire earlier than what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I would have had to work till I was 100, and I don't want to do that. And so we started dreaming about a different type of retirement. We took a trip out to Italy and had a good vacation out there, and we fell in love with it. So that we went back and we just more or less started looking over Italy, wanting to move there. And we talked about it for a long while. But since the plans went through, we went with plan B. And the more we've looked into France, the more it's gotten into our hearts. And I am definitely looking forward to this. And it's funny how your dreams change. That we could go from Tennessee to Italy, which is nowhere near the same as Tennessee, and then finally to France. So it's funny because now, I mean, instead of highways, we're going to be looking at vineyards, which, you know, I'm all about that. And so instead of traffic lights, you're going to get cobblestone streets, and which will be fun to get lost in. So.
And let's be honest, okay? Do you want wine and cheese over chaos and stress? To me, it's a no-brainer.
So we have looked at just about all of the countries in the EU, and we narrowed it down to Spain and Portugal and France, since Italy was out. And I still think Portugal is beautiful. Spain is stunning.
Yes.
But something just kept bringing us back to France. And if you go back in our previous videos, there was a video where we did the pros and cons. Well, yeah, the pros and cons of Italy versus France.
Yeah.
And I think the cons were just a couple. I mean, literally just a couple, and it hit us right in the face.
There were so many pros for France over Italy, and less cons for France than Italy. It was like as soon as we finished with the taping of it, it was like it just hit us. And
like, what are we doing?
Well, it's right here in front of us.
And we haven't been able to find anything to compare. So it just we don't think that France is perfect by any means. We're not looking at this with rose-colored glasses or anything.
Yeah, we're not looking for, some fantasy dream or something like that. I mean, we want the real life thing. Just better bread with less stress.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we know there's going to be things that are not perfect about France. We know it's going to be hard to learn the language. We get it. We know. We're trying. We're doing Duolingo and Babbel and Rosetta Stone. So we are trying to learn the language, and it is hard when you get our age.
Yeah, it is very hard. And like she said, every morning, whenever I'm out in my patrol car, whenever I get me a little break, I'll stop and I'll do a couple of lessons on Duolingo, do a couple of lessons on Babbel, and go back to work.
How do you say "get on the ground" in French?
I haven't learned that yet, but I'm gonna try to get away from that.
But no, I mean, it literally checks so many boxes for us, and that's what matters to us in this next chapter of life.
And like we've said in the past videos, we're not wanting to go over and live off the government. We're just wanting a better life.
Yeah.
Health-wise, cost-wise, and learning new cultures and stuff. That's all we want to do. We're not going over there just to bum off everybody.
We're going to put a chart up here just with some different categories comparing France to the US, just so you can see what a difference there really is in the two countries.
And it is a pretty good difference.
Yeah, and when we started comparing actual numbers, we were a little bit shocked.
Yeah.
And so just rent here in this area that we're in small town Texas, you're talking $1,800 to $2,000 a month easily.
Yeah, and that's just for like a 1 or 2 bedroom.
Yeah.
And take food, for example, okay? Between the outdoor markets and the affordable wine, oh my gosh. Our grocery bills would be a whole lot less than what we're paying for right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, my gosh, you can get a bottle of wine for $4 out there. And out here, you try to get a decent bottle of wine, it's going to cost you probably 3 times that. I'm in. Oh. It's not a funny moan. Oh, my arm vibrated. Oh, that hurt.
My arm vibrated.
It vibrated. I got a limp up here.
Oh my gosh, stop. Why would you limp if it was your elbow?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, I don't want to laugh.
You're making fun of me again.
Golly. Can she do it? I can't do it. Please don't make me laugh. Look away.
I'm just trying to look happy on camera.
We're going to put another chart up here now that shows the difference in like insurance and healthcare and anything like that, comparing France and the US.
For someone that's been using the healthcare system out here in the US for decades, I can tell you right now, it is stressful. France, though, we could be paying a fraction of what we actually pay here in the US. And plus, France is ranked one of the best healthcare systems in the world.
Yeah, and that gives you a peace of mind that if something happens and you have to go to the ER or something, that it's not going to bankrupt you like it does here in the US. And when you're retired, that matters.
Yeah, just here recently, well, not recently, but I had to just go to the emergency care place, and that was almost $1,000 on the bill. And that
you were in and out in 30 minutes.
And that was almost $1,000 that we had to pay on that.
That's not even including what the insurance paid.
No.
It's a racket. It's a racket. When you start considering moving abroad, the visa process can be very intimidating.
Yeah.
When we first started looking at this for Italy, it was a lot.
Italy's
It's a lot.
There has made me a little nervous because a lot of it is, besides the translations and everything, you know, you don't. They also talk, which I understand in France too. It's a slower process, but the more we've looked into France's visas, it seems a little bit more non-stressful.
Yeah, it's actually very doable. So that's a good thing, because like Matt, I was a little nervous about the other, but
yeah,
still excited about it.
You know, and one of the visas that we're looking at, you know, going over there with is the long stay visitor visa, and because all you need to really do is you need to show proof of making at least 1,500 euros a month for each person, and plus you got to have your insurance and a place where you're going to be living.
Yeah, and France makes it a lot easier as far as the accommodations, because you can use a B&B, you can use a hotel, it doesn't matter. Whereas, you know, with Italy, oh my gosh, you had to have a lease.
And one of the things that we're definitely not worried about is like any kind of a background thing for the criminal charge stuff. You know, we have no criminal history, so that's, I hope.
Surprisingly. So as intimidating as it might sound, and it does sound intimidating, it's just paperwork and planning, and anybody can do it. You don't have to be rich, and you don't have to buy a property, which was a relief to us for sure.
Yeah, and the only thing you won't have on your side is time. You know, it just takes a little longer to do this stuff.
And you just be patient.
Very patient.
It's a virtue that I don't have.
That's something I've got to get used to, because I'm used to.
Well, U.S. is. I mean, we go, and they are not like that.
No.
It's probably why they live longer. No pressure.
No, there's no pressure. Corny is my middle name.
Yeah.
You don't say that on camera. I don't want people to know my middle name. What is wrong with you, woman?
Another difference between the U.S. and France is the food. The food in France, it's fresher, it's more seasonal, it tastes better, it's not full of the chemicals and preservatives that everything in the U.S. it seems is full of. And strangely enough, even though the portion sizes are smaller, they're somehow just as satisfying. So
wait, you're telling me that I can eat cheese, drink wine, and still lose weight?
I mean,
that's sorcery.
Sorcery.
Speaking of the food and drinks, this one here, don't even get her started on coffee.
Coffee's my favorite. It is a daily ritual, a daily, twice a day ritual.
I'm used to drinking maybe 1-2 cups, maybe at the most. She drinks about 4 or 5.
I love it. I love coffee.
Especially off of our espresso machine.
You know, best thing I ever did. Best money I have ever spent, and I would do it again. In fact, I will be doing it again when we move over there, because we can't take this one with us. So I will be buying one again.
And I will admit, because when we first met,
Folgers.
I was drinking Folgers.
The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Powdered creamer.
With powdered cream. And now I've more or less turned into a coffee snob.
Nothing wrong with it at all. France, to me, feels like a country that remembers who it is. You know, every village has a story, a castle, or a festival. And, I mean, we just don't have that.
Well, now, here in Texas, we do have history, okay?
Oh, yeah.
But in France, You could be walking by Roman ruins, just headed over to the bakery or a butcher or something.
We do not have that here. The ruins
No.
that we have are not Roman, I can tell you that.
Definitely not.
Just ruins. So let's talk about crime and safety. I'm going to put a chart up here so that you can see a comparison between the U.S. and France.
Now, I've been a deputy sheriff for years.
And
a lot of years.
Many years.
And safety is one of my hugest things, going over to France. And I know it's not crime free. It's got its crime. It does have violent crime, but not as much, in my opinion, as out here. So the odds of violent crime out there, it is a lot lower than it is here, except for maybe for the bigger cities.
Yeah, crime is, I don't feel that it's as bad. I mean, I hear many people that say one of the main reasons that they want to move out of the U.S. is for safety. Well, first and foremost, it's obviously financial, but
financial and healthcare.
Safety always comes up because there's mass shootings all the time. There's always something. And, with Matt being in law enforcement, I hear more than I used to. I hear about the stuff that, not just the bad stuff.
I'm just glad she doesn't have a scanner anymore.
I used to listen to a scanner.
And
I don't do that anymore.
She would hear them calling my number, and if I wasn't answering, or if she heard me breathing heavy on the radio trying to answer back.
I heard you on a police chase once. And now, oh my gosh.
As a matter of fact, I was on the phone with you.
On one of them.
When a trooper was trying to stop a car, and I saw him whip a U-turn, and I told you, I said, well, we're in a chase. And I had her on the phone the whole time while I was on the car chase.
Yeah, I gave up the scanner a long time ago. I just can't, and so I feel like I hear about it more now than I used to, which is not necessarily a good thing. There are the funny things, because people are something. And for some reason, out in our neck of the woods, people are naked all the time. I don't know what that is. It's at work. I'm always sending them a screenshot of the local Facebook crime page. And there's always, at least once a week,
well, just the other day,
somebody's naked doing something. Somebody was naked in Walmart. Come on now.
Well, just the other day, we had a guy that was in nothing but a t-shirt trying to get into cars.
Come on.
And that local agency was trying to get over there to him, and apparently they caught him. But it happens
a lot out here. It's hot out here. It's hot.
It's hot. I'm sweating in places I didn't know I had.
I'm gonna take my clothes off.
Now, geopolitically, let's get real with this. The U.S. right now, it is intense at this point.
Yep.
Not just politically, socially, economically. It's everything, and it's almost exhausting.
It's very exhausting.
Just listening to it every single day, and I understand there's political and
no politics.
Yeah, but it's everywhere. It's everywhere. But out here right now, things are trying to get back in line, and it just gets a little stressful because you don't know what's going to happen the next day.
Division here is bad right now. If you don't agree, then you're hated for it. Even in family.
Even on YouTube.
Oh yeah, that too. But even in families, there's strife in family members because they don't believe the same way. And oh my gosh, it didn't used to be like this, or not this bad anyway. And so, and I know that France is not perfect. They have their strikes, they have their bureaucracy, they have immigration debates just like we do. But the daily pace, it just feels calmer over there than it does here.
Yeah. Now, we're not actually running away from America on this, okay? We're running towards what I feel and she feels is more of a healthier and peaceful life in the future.
Very much so. And where are we looking in France? Well, we are looking at Brittany,
Yes.
which is stunning.
Very.
We just did a video on that came out a couple weeks. By the time y'all see this one, it'll be a few weeks. Stunning. Normandy is pretty. The only
Yes.
thing about Normandy is that it's very rainy and it gets pretty cold.
Well, Brittany gets, rain too, but
Not as much as Normandy.
I've pushed myself more towards the Brittany area.
Yeah, it's definitely one of our favorites. But we also like southern France. We love the Dordogne area. We love Charente. Charente's beautiful too. We
Yeah.
actually did videos on both of those as well.
And Haute-Vienne.
Haute-Vienne. Oh my gosh, you can't go wrong no matter what you pick. It doesn't seem like, but those are our 3 top spots. Are the south, which we still have to go into. We're, again, still researching the towns in the south of France, and Brittany would definitely. Those are our top picks right now. And so we're going to put a chart up here that's got some comparisons of some of those places as well.
Yeah, some of the pros for each of the regions, and just for a little comparison. Yeah, we're drawn to the light and beauty of the South, and there's something that's pretty nice about the Northwest too.
Yeah, very homey.
Well, that and every video I've seen, especially up there in the Brittany area, it's green.
Yeah.
And I love it.
So pretty. Now, we obviously are not experts in any way, shape, or form. We are just a couple of rednecks, Hank and Peggy Hill, as
There
we've
you go.
been called, from Texas. And we're just trying to plan a peaceful, meaningful retirement. And France, to us, is beginning to look more and more like home.
Yes, very much so. So, if you're in the same boat that we are, or even just a little bit curious, subscribe, leave a comment, hit that notification bell, and we'll try to get anything that we find out there to you as it comes.
Yeah, and we'll be diving into more French towns soon. So again, like you said, hit that notification bell so that you can be notified of when our next video is going to come up, which will be next Friday at 3 p.m. Central. George decided that he wanted to say hi to his fans. So here's George. So you guys have a good week. We will see you next Friday. I'll be in.
Abiento.